Hi, I'm Chris Brown with Beeline Property Management, and we cover the Inland Empire area of Southern California. Today I'm going to be speaking about late rents and what to do in the event of late rents. Some of the things that we like to do up front to try to help avoid or minimize late rents coming in is to include a late rent fee policy up front. This late rent fee policy needs to be something that's uncomfortable but not overbearing. The thought process behind it is if the dollar amount is simply too high and a judge deems it's unreasonable, they're just going to throw it out in court. But we don't want to make it so easy on a tenant. Like at one point we had them low enough where we extended it. Each day the amount was dollar amount X, and that extended over so many days that we capped out. And what we were finding with the dollar amount that we had, where people were showing up regularly with their late rent payment and the amount that they knew they were going to be charged, because it wasn't a high enough dollar amount to incent them to bring it in on time, and they would just assume pay the late fee than to bring it in on time. So what we've done is we've shortened the amount of time that we have the late rents accrue over, but increase the amount that it is charged each and every day, so that it's uncomfortable enough that they want to avoid it from the start, because even one day is too expensive and a higher amount that they just don't want to pay. Some of the other things is you want to adopt a collections process. So you can call someone, but that doesn't always work. So in our example, we have a collections process which starts with simple phone calls, and then we have a calendar that we follow where an email goes out, and the email escalates in its urgency and in the wording. At first it might be something, for an example, that's very nice. Hey, see, we haven't received the rent, friendly reminder, to where it's becoming more and more obvious that it's not an accident or oversight, and our wording is going to become a little more serious, that this is something that needs to be dealt with, or there's repercussions, so on and so forth, things of that nature. A true possibility, or a very real possibility, is issuing a 3-day notice to pay or quit. And in our case, we give them enough time to realistically bring in that rent, but not so much time that they're just going to buy more time to live in their property free before we start the process of putting the 3-day notice to pay or quit, which in most cases is going to get people's attention. They don't understand the full law behind the 3-day pay or quit, and just the notice itself is enough to scare them to realize it's time to stop playing and get the money in there. Doesn't always work, but in a majority of the cases it gets their attention. Lastly, something that we like to do is to keep track of the reasonings that we're giving, so that number one, we can find out who are our repeat offenders and what those reasons that they're giving. This is not something that's done throughout the company, but it's done through our accounting department. And it's something we're doing fairly new, but what we're finding by keeping track of this is we're seeing that we're having the same tenants that are paying late again and again and again. And the reasoning they're given for paying late are showing up again and again and again. And whereas before, where we just simply accepted the excuse, brought it back to the owner, and then worked with them, now we're able to go back to the list that we're keeping and politely say to them, well, this is the 3rd month in 6 months that you've had this same issue, so maybe we need to find another way to deal with this in the future to avoid it. It works for us, it may not work for everyone, but food for thought so that you don't wind up being taken advantage of. That's what I've got on this topic. Appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, please let us know.